Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every person's life where you realize you're not meant to chase anyone, not love, not validation, not approval. You're not here to beg for attention in rooms where your soul isn't even seen. You are not a backup plan, a second choice, or an afterthought. You are the fire, you are the standard, and when someone cannot recognize your worth, when they take your loyalty for granted, when they play games with your heart, don't fight to stay, leave gracefully, boldly, powerfully. Let me tell you something. We spend too much time shrinking ourselves to fit into lives that aren't big enough for us, dimming our light so others can feel comfortable. And when they walk away, when they betray us, when they ghost us, cheat on us, lie to us, or make us feel like we're not enough, they expect us to break, to collapse, to come crawling back. But here's what you do instead. You rise, you level up, you remind them, without saying a word, what it looks like to lose someone irreplaceable. See, making someone feel the pain of losing you isn't about revenge. It's not about bitterness. It's not about stooping to their level. It's about remembering who you are and living so fully, so fiercely, so fearlessly that they have no choice but to watch you shine from a distance, because nothing haunts someone more than realizing they had access to a queen and they let her go. Let your absence speak volumes. Let your glow be the silence that echoes in their regrets. Let your growth become their punishment, because when they see you happy without them, when they hear your name in rooms they'll never enter, when they watch you walk into your destiny without ever looking back, that's when they'll feel the pain, not because you tried to hurt them, but because they hurt someone who never would have hurt them. So don't waste your tears, don't beg for what should have been yours freely, don't let anyone treat you like you're hard to love. You are magic, you are once, in a lifetime, you are the lesson they'll never forget. So go ahead, level up, love louder, walk taller, and when they ask what happened, just smile and say, you lost me and I don't come back. We live in a world that constantly tries to define us, by our relationships, our status, our appearance, and even our past mistakes. But there's a profound power in knowing your worth. It's not arrogance, it's not attitude, it's clarity. And once you have that clarity, you stop settling for anything that doesn't match your value. Too often, we find ourselves tolerating less than we deserve just to keep the peace, to avoid being alone, or simply because we've been conditioned to believe we must always be accommodating. We let people come in and out of our lives with no accountability. We excuse behavior that chips away at our self-esteem. We accept crumbs and convince ourselves it's a feast, because we're afraid that walking away means losing something. But here's the truth: when you truly know who you are, what you bring to the table, and what your heart is worth, you stop negotiating with people who can't even meet your basic standards. Knowing your worth means refusing to be part of any dynamic that makes you feel like you have to prove yourself constantly. It means standing tall, even when your voice trembles, and saying, I deserve more. And if they don't see it, if they hesitate, belittle, or take advantage of your kindness, you let them go, not to punish them, but to protect yourself. Your energy is sacred. Your time is precious. Your presence is a privilege, not a consolation prize. People will treat you according to how you treat yourself. If you respect your boundaries, others will learn to do the same. If you honor your journey, the right ones will walk it with you. But if you keep giving chance after chance, all while losing pieces of yourself, you'll wake up one day wondering how you ended up so far from the person you were meant to be. You don't need to chase validation. You don't need to compete for love. What is truly meant for you will recognize your worth the moment it sees you, and it won't need to be begged, reminded, or convinced. So stop apologizing for your standards. Stop playing small just to be liked. You are not hard to love. You are just not meant to be loved in halves. When you know your worth, you don't just walk away from people who don't see it. You elevate so high they can't even reach you anymore. That's when the real shift begins. That's when they start to feel the loss, and that's when you start to feel truly free. There's a certain kind of strength that comes from walking away, not in anger, not in bitterness, but in quiet power. It takes courage to leave when your heart is still attached, when the memories are still fresh, when a part of you is still hoping they'll change. But the truth is, staying where you are not respected slowly kills the very essence of who you are. It silences your voice, dims your light, and convinces you that enduring mistreatment is the price of love. But love should never cost you your dignity. When someone stops valuing your presence, when your kindness becomes their convenience, when they forget that your time, your loyalty, and your love are gifts, not obligations, you owe it to yourself to step away. You don't need to yell. You don't need to beg. You don't need to prove your pain to someone who refuses to see it. What you need is to choose you, to preserve your peace, to protect your soul. Walking away doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've finally had enough. It means you've recognized that your worth isn't tied to how much you endure. It means you've made the decision to stop watering a relationship that refuses to grow. And the moment you choose to walk with grace instead of staying out of fear, everything shifts. They might not understand it at first. They might call you dramatic, selfish, or even cold. But that's only because they never imagined a version of you that could survive without them. They never imagined the day would come when you'd stop answering, stop explaining, and stop showing up. But that day comes when you're tired of pretending, tired of feeling invisible, tired of giving your all only to get fragments in return. Let them wonder. Let them sit in the silence your absence creates. Let them replay the moments where they could have treated you better. Because that silence, it's not empty. It's full of the lessons they refused to learn when you were still giving them access. You don't owe anyone your presence when they've failed to earn it. You don't have to stay loyal to people who mistreat you just because you once loved them. Loyalty to others should never mean betrayal to yourself. So walk away not to teach them a lesson, but to remind yourself that you are always the one who brought the love, the grace, and the fire. They just didn't recognize it until it was gone. When someone loses you, the most powerful thing you can do is grow. Not to make them jealous, not to seek revenge, but to honor yourself. Let your healing, your progress, and your evolution be the quiet proof that their absence didn't break you. It built you, because growth after pain is not just recovery, it's transformation. It's reclaiming your power in the most graceful, undeniable way possible. People expect you to fall apart when they leave. They expect the tears, the silence, the broken pieces scattered across the floor. And maybe, for a moment, that happens. Maybe you do fall. Maybe you cry, question your worth, and wonder what went wrong. But what matters most is what you choose to do after that. Do you stay there? Or do you rise, stronger than before, rooted deeper in self, love than ever? Growth doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't announce itself with loud declarations or petty games. It moves quietly, steadily, and fiercely. It's in the way you stop responding to chaos. It's in the way you choose peace over proving a point. It's in the way you invest in your purpose, surround yourself with people who see your light, and become the version of yourself you once only dreamed of. There is something incredibly powerful about watching someone who was underestimated bloom, when they thought you needed them to survive, and now they're forced to witness you thrive without them. It leaves an echo. Not because you intended to cause pain, but because your success becomes the mirror they can't avoid. A mirror that reflects everything they lost, everything they dismissed, and everything they'll never get back. Let them see you doing better, not just financially or professionally, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Let them see you smiling without faking it, loving without fear, and living without looking over your shoulder. That's the kind of growth that stings. Not because you hurt them, but because they hurt someone who rose anyway. You don't need closure from them. You don't need apologies. Your healing is your closure. Your glow is your response, and the more you pour into yourself, the more they'll realize that losing you wasn't just a mistake. It was the kind of loss that echoes, the kind that lingers. So grow, not out of spite, but out of love for yourself. Become the proof that their absence didn't end you, it awakened you. There's a quiet kind of power in choosing peace over revenge. When someone has hurt you, betrayed your trust, disrespected your love, or left you in pieces, the first instinct might be to retaliate, to make them feel what you felt. But the truth is, real power lies in rising above that instinct. You don't have to play their game. You don't have to lower your standards to match their behavior. Because when you carry yourself with grace instead of vengeance, you win a different kind of victory, the kind that lasts. Choosing not to seek revenge doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you're okay with what they did. It means you're strong enough to let life handle what you don't need to. The universe has a way of restoring balance. What you put out eventually comes back, and the pain they caused, it will return to them. Not through your actions, but through their own. Let karma speak in the silence you leave behind. Let it work in its own time, on its own terms. When you focus on revenge, you stay tied to the person who hurt you. You keep reliving the wound, feeding it, giving it power over your emotions and decisions. But when you let go and focus on your own growth, your healing becomes louder than any form of payback ever could be. There's nothing more haunting to someone who tried to break you than realizing they couldn't. You didn't collapse, you didn't lose yourself, you chose elevation over destruction. The best revenge is not revenge at all, it's peace. It's smiling without bitterness, it's succeeding without needing to announce it. It's waking up every day and choosing to be better, not bitter. It's when you no longer need closure, apologies, or validation because you've already given those things to yourself. That's when they start to feel the weight of what they lost, not because you tried to make them hurt, but because your healing reminds them of everything they failed to appreciate. Let your life become the response. Let your happiness echo louder than your hurt. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Those who wronged you will eventually face their own consequences, and you won't need to lift a finger. You'll be too busy building, loving, creating, and becoming. So walk away with your head held high, not because they didn't matter, but because you finally realized you matter more. There are certain people in life who don't realize what they have until it's gone. They take your love, your loyalty, and your presence for granted, assuming you'll always be there answering their calls, forgiving their mistakes, showing up even when they give you the bare minimum. But when you finally walk away, not out of anger but out of clarity, that's when the lesson begins. You become the memory they can't erase, the standard they can't reach again, the person they wish they had treated better. Being the lesson someone never forgets doesn't mean you wish them harm. It means you became the turning point in their story. You were the one who showed them what unconditional love looked like, what real support felt like, and what it meant to be genuinely cared for. And when they lost you, they lost more than just a person. They lost stability, peace, and authenticity. That kind of loss lingers. It doesn't hit all at once. It creeps in over time, in the quiet moments, in the empty spaces where you used to be. People often don't understand the weight of your presence until they feel the depth of your absence. It's when they hear your name and their chest tightens. It's when they see someone else receiving the love they once took for granted. It's when they scroll through old messages and realize they'll never find someone who spoke to their soul the way you did. That's the power of being unforgettable, not because you begged to be remembered, but because you were real in a world full of temporary people. You were the one who gave without keeping score. You forgave more times than you should have. You stayed loyal when others would have walked away. And still, they chose to play with your heart. That choice has a cost. And that cost is losing you forever. Not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, completely. Once you step away with intention, you don't return. You don't reopen doors that were closed for your healing. You don't give second chances to people who never valued the first. Let them live with the knowledge that they had something rare and treated it like it was replaceable. Let your growth, your peace, your happiness, all of it, be a reminder that you were the real thing. And once the real thing is gone, everything else just feels like a substitute. That's what it means to be the lesson they never forget. You showed them love, they showed you loss, and now they live with the consequence of that choice. One of the most powerful choices you can make after being disrespected, mistreated, or undervalued is to walk away and never look back. Not because you're bitter, not because you want to prove a point, but because you've finally realized your peace is more valuable than their presence. There comes a time when you outgrow the need for closure, explanations, or apologies. The silence becomes your answer, the distance becomes your protection, and the act of not returning becomes your loudest statement. People often assume you'll come back. They rely on your empathy, your softness, your willingness to forgive. They think you'll always answer the phone, reply to the message, show up when they call, no matter how many times they've let you down. They confuse your kindness with weakness, but there's a breaking point, a moment when the person who gave everything finally gives up, not out of anger, but out of exhaustion. You stop explaining your worth. You stop trying to be understood. You simply walk, and this time it's final. That decision, the one to not return, shakes them more than any argument ever could. because it forces them to confront the reality that they pushed away someone who would have gone to the ends of the earth for them. There's no more comfort in knowing you'll always be there. There's no more access. You've closed the door not to punish them, but to protect yourself. And that locked door becomes the consequence they never saw coming. You find power in letting go. You begin to rebuild, to refocus, to rise, not just emotionally, but mentally and spiritually. You start living a life where your boundaries are firm, your standards are high, and your self-respect is non-negotiable. And as you move forward, they're left watching from the sidelines, realizing too late that they lost someone who was never meant to be taken lightly. Not looking back is the final act of self-love. It's the moment you declare that your healing matters more than their regrets. It's the refusal to reopen wounds that took too long to close. You didn't lose them. They lost you. And when they finally understand what they had, you'll be long gone, thriving, peaceful, and unreachable. Walking away is powerful, but never turning back, that's where the transformation happens. That's when you stop being their option and become the one that got away. And they'll feel that not just once, but for a very long time. Thanks.